Back to the data channel, and you're watching SQL Bootcamp for Data Professionals. And as part of the topic 5 with respect to the data channel which presents in this playlist, we are bringing up the next video which is related to the group by and having. So group by and having, you might have like if you're working in SQL, you might already be familiar with this. If not, we will briefly discuss about group by and having. So these basically come hand in hand. So the operation where you do a group by, you can also use having in that cases, in certain cases. So before proceeding, if you are new to this channel, we would recommend you to please subscribe and also press bell button for instant notifications. So let's get started. So understanding group by is a clause. We call it as a clause, right? So we need to understand this very importantly. So this is a clause in SQL is used to group the rows that have the same value in specified column into aggregated data. So let's suppose like there is a employee ID 100, right, and there is an employee name ABC, right, and there is a location L1. Similarly, there is an employee ID 200, there is a location XYZ, right, and then you have the location L2, right, and similarly you have L3 and then L3 then L2, right. Suppose what group by does is it will, if you want to group by location, so this is a location row, right, so location column. So if you want to group by this particular column, it will put all of this column in one bucket. So all L3 will be one bucket, all L2 will be one put into one bucket, right, and all L1 will be put into a different bucket. So it will actually group by the column that you specify in the group by clause, right. And you can call you can have one or more columns also, like if you want to group by location and then say pin code, so you can group by the combination of those also. So it is often used with the aggregated function. So what is the purpose of grouping is, so once you group it, so you have an intention to aggregate the values based on that group wide value, based on whatever is grouped. Maybe it is a count, it might be a sum, average, min, max. So to basically to extract some KPIs that you are interested in, so this perform operation on a group on data rather than individual rows, right. So it group by will not work on individual rows because it is already grouping the rows and it operates on the group of rows, not on the individual rows. So that is what it means, right. And what does having does? So having comes in hand with group by, right. Having clause is used to filter groups based on the conditions. So there is no having without group by, right. So group by need to be there to perform having. So it works on the result of the group by. So once you group by, so there is a group, right. So that group you can apply the filters on that particular group using having. Similarly, like if you don't group anything, right, you can use a where clause to filter the records, right. Similarly, to apply the filter condition on the grouped value, you need to use having. Okay, so it is similar to where, but having applies to aggregated results rather than where applies to the individual rows. And aggregated functions that needs to be filtered, so that condition applies to the filter to the filter that results it. Okay, so quickly let's jump to the practicals of it, and we will see how exactly the group by and having works in real time. So let's jump to the practicals with one of the sales table. First we will create a sales table with sale ID, product ID, salesperson, right, and sale amount and the sales date. And once we have created a table, so let's insert a couple of values into this table. So we have like what is the date of the sale, what is the amount of each sale, and who is a salesperson, and what is the product ID and what is the sale ID, right. So with that, so the records are inserted into the sales table. So now we have data in the sales table, right. So you can just say select star from sales, right. You have data in the sales table, right. So now we can try to apply group by function and see how exactly this looks like, right. So first let us take total sales by each salesperson. So how do you calculate that? So total sales by each salesperson. We'll take this scenario. Okay, how do we do that using the group by function, right? Basically, let's take this as a code. So as a name suggests, you want to take the sales by salesperson. That means you want to group all these records at each salesperson level. So once you group by salesperson, so you need to select that column in the in the select column. If you don't select that, it will throw error, because if you are grouping by that particular column, so that column is mandatory to be present in the result set. Otherwise it doesn't make any logical sense, right? And then you perform aggregation value. It might be sum, it might be average, min. So here the total sales you are expecting for this person, right? So what does it actually, how does it work, right? So basically it does group by salesperson. So salesperson, it actually take Alice, this, say, this row, first row, and then sixth row. So these two rows will be picked, and then that will be in one group, which is Alice group. So Bob group, like there are two entries, so this will be input in another group. Similarly for all the salesperson, it will group actually one by one, and after it is grouped, so basically it will kind of a sum it. So if Alice and Alice is in one group, these two rows, right, line number 1 and line number 6, it will take the sum of sales amount, so then it will display the result. Similarly it applies for all of the salesperson, right? See, Alice's total sales is this, and Bob's total sales is this, and so on, right? So if you really see, if you do select star and see, right, and so you'll be able to clearly understand, right? So Alice, it will take these two, and it is 3000 plus, and 3000 plus 2700 plus 1500, it is result to this. And Bob is 3200 plus 5400, so it is resulting to this. Similarly it applies for everything, right? And let's take another example. Okay, so the next example we would take is salesperson with total sales greater than 500. So here now we need to identify a salesperson who has done the sales which is more than 5,000, right? So for that, so whatever we have written it previously, we have done by group by salesperson, right? Here also that remains, still remains the same. So here, because we want to get the salesperson as a result, right? So that remains the same. But however, we need to have a having clause here, because there is a condition, right? So having sum of sale amount greater than 5,000. So it is actually greater than 5,000. So now you will be able to see more than 5,000, whoever is there, it will list. Okay. So suppose if I give more than 7,000, only one entry should be there, because only Alice is more than 7,000. Sorry, and Bob as well, right? So this is how you kind of apply a condition on the grouped values, right? So one more example, we can take total sales by product. So this time we will take sales by product in the third operation, right? So if you want to take sales by product, so definitely you need to group by product ID, right? So once you group by product ID, so this particular column should be present here. Okay, and then so here it is total sales by each product. Okay, and let's remove this. So now if you are able to query this, so for each product, what is the total sale you can get, right? Product 1 is this much sale, and product 2 sale this much sale, right? So if you see consolidated, like this is a product ID 1, so 1 2 and 3 transaction happened for that product, and uh, like you can see all those three transaction is actually summed, and it is showing that particular in 101, right? So now let's see one more final one, which is products with total sales greater than 6,000. So again it is same, right? Like we need to just give having sum of sales amount greater than 6,000. So this is basically the fourth case we are talking about here, right? So these are the three products which is having the sales greater than 6,000. So that is how you will be able to see this. The table sales is structured to support group by and having examples with a salesperson and product ID be in the column to be grouped by, right? And the like we have inserted some dummy values for the practice purpose in this actually, so you can also try with dummy values and kind of play around with this group by and having options. So these are the basic concept of group by and having. Hope this was useful and thanks for watching.